Welcome back, AGers. We're going to look at 932 today, and we're going to do a little search and rescue. We've got Harold. He's in his hot air balloon, and he is lost. So we are going to have to use our knowledge about systems of inequalities, and we're going to help figure out where to look for Harold. But don't you worry, we'll find him. I have every confidence that you've got your stuff together. So before we get going, I'm going to recommend that you get a ruler, because you're definitely going to need it, and I'm going to use 3 different colors markers because I'm going to have different information. I'm going to want to color code it because it'll make it much easier. So if you want, just give it a little pause, grab your ruler, get your highlighters or markers or colored pencils, and then we'll be good to go. All right, that was quick. You're back. So before we get on our search and rescue for Harold, we are going to take a little flashback just to make sure we remember how to do our systems, graphing our systems of inequalities. So I have an exponential and a linear inequality. So let's start with the exponential. It has a growth of 2, so we know it's going to be going up. When x is 0, y is 1, because anything to the 0 power is 1. If I plug in 3 for x, 2 to the 3rd will give me 8. Nicely done. I know it is going to follow the x-axis, right? So I'm going to start with my curve. It's going to be greater than, so the curve is excluded. So I'm going to make sure I do a nice dashed line. Now, because I know this is going to be a systems, I'm thinking greater than. I want to be above the curve when I go to shade. So now, let's take a look at the linear inequality. In order to work with this, I'm going to bump it into our slope-intercept form. So I'm going to move the x over, and I get 4y is less than or equal to negative x plus 4. Divide by 4, and I have y is less than or equal to negative 1/4 x plus 1. So a y-intercept of 1, a slope of negative 1/4. If I go down 1, I go over 4. Down 1, I go over 4. If I went up 1, I'd go to the left 4. Okay, we have enough points. It's a less than or equal to, so I know the line is included in my solution, so I'm going to do a solid line. Here we go. Because it's a greater than, for the exponential it was above, so if I'm looking at my linear and it's less than, I need to be below. So above the curve, below the line. See, you already had that. What a nice job. Excellent. So this is what we're going to use to help find poor Harold. So here we go. Let's figure out what's happening. I am completely lost. Water everywhere I can see. Both burners have failed. Wait, I see land. I'm going to try to land. I think it's... And that's it. Last words we've got from Harold in his hot air balloon. So there he is. He's leaning out. He's trying to find that land. So we're going to take a look at what do we know. We've got some basic facts in the case. We have a pilot's report from a nearby airplane, and we also have a phone call received today. So these are going to be our 3 systems. This is going to create our system, rather, and we are going to come up with a search zone. So at this point, I want you to make sure you've got your second page, right? Your map, your handy dandy map, and we're going to start with our basic facts, and then this is where you're going to want to color code and get your map out. All right. So here we go. The basic facts. The balloon departed from the airport at the very northern tip of the Philippines. The flight was supposed to follow a straight path directly to French Polynesia. All right, so let's go take a look at our map. Here we go. Find the Philippines right up here. You see they've got a nice dot for you. I want you to use this dot. And then where is it going on a straight path to? French Polynesia. All right, so I'm going to use my blue marker. I want you to handy dandy make a mark at the Philippines, do a mark at French Polynesia, and here we go. Straight path. Excellent. All right. So now we're going to look at coming up with an equation. It said, if you go back, I hope I can get this to stop. Let's see. How are we doing on our strobe? Oh, look at that. I've got the magic touch today. It said the balloon's last known location, I'm reading this from the basic facts on the front page, was at negative 1,000, 1,000 near the Samoan Islands. So on my map, each box represents 1,000 kilometers. So if I'm at negative 1,000, 1,000, this is the area towards the Samoan Islands. So we're in pretty good shape. All right, so now let's come up with the equation for the line. If I look at this, can I see what my y-intercept is? Of course I can. You are spot on. I'm at 0, 2. In this case, 2 represents 2,000 kilometers. So back on your front page, right? Y, and we've got a positive 2,000. So far, so good. So now let's figure out the slope. Back to my line. If I go down 1, I can go over 2, right? And I'm doing a pretty good job being right on my line. So I have a negative slope. Yep, you got it, negative 1/2. So negative 1/2 x. Now that leaves us for the inequality. If I know I'm in the Samoan Islands, I know I need to be below the line. If it's below, then I'm looking at, you got it, less than. So this is a less than. My line is included, so less than or equal to. I'm going to slide this over because it looks a little awkward. Negative 1/2 x plus 2,000, right? And this is, I use blue for that one. Okay, now let's see what the pilot gave us, right? The pilot from the nearby airplane. It said, we were on our way from Australia when we saw our hot air balloon sinking rapidly. I am certain that it crashed south of our flight path. So we know we want to be south. They were on their way from Australia. We left Australia. We traveled 2,000 kilometers north for every 3,000 kilometers east. All right, grab your handy dandy map. I'm going to use a different color now. Where are they coming from? Oh gosh, you gotta, I don't know why it keeps doing this. Here we go. They were coming from Australia. So do you see the Australian airport marked right here? This is where they were going. And then it said that they were going 2,000 kilometers north for every 3,000 kilometers east. So if I go north 2,000 kilometers and then east 3,000 kilometers, right? 2,000 north, 3,000 east. So do I have 3 points? I certainly do. So I've got a handy dandy line. So take out your ruler. Make sure that we've got this, right? All right. It said that I'm sure that it crashed. Where did it crash? It crashed south. So if it's south, of this trajectory, right? That means it would be below the line. All right. So we've got a slope, right? The slope is positive. It was 2,000 over 3,000. Do I have a nice little y-intercept here? I certainly do. This is at -2 or -2,000. So, handy dandy first sheet. Let's summarize. We said that the slope was was positive 2/3, 2,000 north, 2,000 kilometers north for 3,000 east. So that simplifies to 2/3. And the intercept was at -2,000. It was below the line, so it's going to be if it's south, it's less than, so it's a less than or equal to. And this is my orange. Okay, so we've got one more piece, and that's the phone call that we received. So here we go. The phone call that we received today. I'm going to just read from the sheet here. I saw a passenger on a flight that flew directly. I was a passenger on a flight that flew directly from French Polynesia to Indonesia. I was looking out my window when I saw the balloon falling down to the north of where we were flying. All right. So we got our map. They were going from French Polynesia and they were going to Indonesia. So they were coming from here to here. Here we go. All right. And it said, I'm sure it was north. So what's going to, our inequality, if it was north, then that would be above or greater than. So y is greater than or equal to. We've got to find out our slope here. So let's go back to our page. All right. So this is a friendly point, right? So if I go down 1, I'd go over 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say that's pretty close. That's got to be about 5. Okay, let's see if I go the other way. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1, oh yeah, I'm going to give it a slope of 1/5. It is going downhill though, so let's make sure we've got our negative. And we mentioned it went through the origin, 0, 0, so that's all I need. So this is above. And that was our green. So I need above the green and then below the other two. So if I'm looking at my search, I need to be above the green and below the blue and the orange. So this is my overlap. I'm below the blue, I'm below the orange, right? So this is Samoa. So this is the area that they're going to search for Harold, right? So the search team should search. Where are they? They are by the Samoan Islands, right? So we're the search and rescue, right? I'm sure he's fine. Don't you worry. Teams should look. A search by the Samoan Islands.